So these riders with the company, kind of our guides and all that, they are so good. They are so good at preempting and making sure that we're all together and we all we're all riding on the right track. I've just got to concentrate a little bit here. You get the signal, and sometimes at intersections they will actually go and it's amazing. They block the traffic so that we can ride through. Oh, they're just the best. They really are good. So, got to give them credit. They're earning a big tip at the end of this, I'll tell you that. Really, really are top class. And never look frustrated, never show any frustration, always happy to help. TT, the ride leader, is just phenomenal. He does literally everything. So he's out front leading the group, of course, and then we stop for lunch. He's the one that goes in and organizes everything, makes sure we've all got a drink. He comes out and says, "What are you drinking?" He takes the orders. He becomes the waiter. It doesn't matter what the establishment is that we go to. He takes the orders. Then he makes sure that you get what you ordered. Then he gets back on the bike and he rides. And then when we go to some place that's like a tourist attraction, yesterday we went to a church and we went before to a Buddhist temple. And TT's the tour guide there. He'll explain what it's all about, what it represents. Gives quite a good account of, what we're visiting and what we're seeing. And then he's back on the bike and yesterday my carburetor, I think maybe the needle had jammed or something like that. It was flooding a bit. So they made sure that I had that it was replaced last night. So we get back to we got into the hotel and they said, okay. Well, they swapped the bike yesterday. I swapped with one of the with Lam, who's riding behind me in my mirror there, and we swapped bikes. He rode mine. It was going, but it wasn't going that well. And so we swapped bikes. I rode out the rest of the day on his, and he rode mine. I could have still ridden mine. It just wasn't idling all that well. And anyway, they insisted that I swap the bike out, which I did. And then last night they've got spares in the vehicle. They swapped the carby out, put another carby on my bike, and that was it. I'm back on it today, and it's going beautifully. It's a big group, It's not my idea of touring in general, but if you're going to do it, this is the group. Particularly in, I think, Vietnam, it's quite hectic, and you won't know what you're looking at and where you're going half the time. So this way, at least, you're getting some sort of insight into where you're traveling and why you're going to this place or the next place. And today, again, we're traveling on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. So we're continuing on that. And we continue on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. And so riding in a big group has its, in a group like this has its advantages and disadvantages. But I'm enjoying this. I've got to say, it's again, it's one of those lifetime experiences, and you just got to accept that it's not the way you'd ideally like to do it, but it's good all the same. So here's another strange vehicle coming up on the right here. It's just a motorcycle. That's another rule here, is people coming out from intersections, like to get on this road that we're on, or whatever direction you're traveling in. If they're coming out to go that way, they don't look. They just go, and you got to know that they're not going to look, and they're just going to go. So you got to be on your A game all the time here. That's for sure. It's challenging. This is why I had 2 cups of coffee 3 cups this morning. So you need all your alertness, your faculties going.
Recording.
Here we go. Here we go. Look at this thing up front here. What is it? Some motor. They carry everything. There's chickens going to market. And look at this steel being carried on this thing. I tell you, you get taken out. You get taken out on the end of a steel spike. You'll know about it. Well, this is kind of like the jungle landscape that I've always had visions and images of Vietnam and the Ho Chi Minh Trail. I promise you, if it's jarring for you watching this, it's twice as jarring for me. Oh yeah. Caramba. And these bikes have got 0 suspension, so it just rockets through every part of your body. So we've had a couple of breaks this morning which have been very well received. The one was at an old military sort of memorial site from the Vietnam War. Very interesting perspective on that conflict. There's always 2 sides to a story. And TT, the ride leader, was telling us about the experience, this being the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and what the Allied forces were doing to try and mitigate the flow of arms and munitions down the trail, was to use napalm and burn it all out, and Agent Orange just kill it off. And he says Agent Orange ended up affecting 4.5 million Vietnamese, where in subsequent generations there were deformities in births that were a result of that, aside from the deaths, because he said, well, the people had to eat, so they were eating contaminated food. I don't know. I've got very strong feelings about the double standards, that the Western world, and particularly America, display with what weapons get used, the choice of weapons and wars and all this kind of stuff. And they went after Saddam Hussein, who was supposedly developing weapons of mass destruction. Well, America is, to me, is the only country that has actually used weapons of mass destruction on two separate occasions. Well, on more than two. Well, during the Second World War, obviously with nuclear weapons, was the first instance, but the second was here with chemicals like Agent Orange that were indiscriminate in who they killed, who they affected, how it worked. So yeah, America has a lot to answer for, in my opinion, in the way it executes wars and then sits on the sidelines later on and throws stones at everyone else. There you go. That's my story. It's interesting to see the prevalence of hammers and sickles that we didn't encounter in Russia at all. Of course, Russia, the whole Soviet Union had dissolved by the time we went there in 2011. But there were no remnants of it in terms of insignia and that kind of stuff. There were, with regard to things like police pillboxes at the entrance and exit of each little town and village. So like this, as you'd come into a town, there'd be some sort of police kiosk kind of or pillbox thing with a policeman sitting there waving you down or wanting you to pull over or whatever the case might be. Anyway, we're stopping. Good. We'll get off this. We just had lunch and we now headed up the mountain, and this section of the mountain is concreted. So the road's concreted, and it's as rough as guts. It really is. So we're not going to make good time going up here, that's for sure. And we'll be well shaken at the top. Yeah. So now this really, you get the feeling that you're on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. The way it snakes through these mountains, obviously very different today in terms of the road and the surface, but yeah, this would have been something in that era for sure. And our guide Titi was telling us that obviously the North Vietnamese soldiers were using this to traverse, and then the women were the couriers of weapons and munition and all that, pushing bicycles laden with arms and ammunition along this track. They have a very high regard for the service um, of the women during that part of, well, for the most part of the war, let's put it that way, who played a very active role in taking the battle to the Americans.
It's a part of the Ho Chi Minh Trail, the original road. Because it's go low and near the river, the worry the landslide, so the terrain is higher one. And of course, when they're building the Ho Chi Minh Trail, they clear the tree both sides. Make it clear ton. They spend the trail in 10 years and just finished in 2002. So the span is bigger. But the traffic 3,000 k. Cooking way. Example, inside the hill, inside the tunnel. The tunnel goes long to there, and then when they cook in the cooking bowl, there the fire here.
Is that one of the tunnels right here?
No.
No.
And then the smoky just on the ground, and until it's to the tree, it's bare. You can't see the smoky.
Oh.
I just use the timber, the wood fire, but you can't see the smoky. We call that Hoang Kam. Hoang Kam, which means the name of that guy who designed that kitchen.
Right.
Yeah.
So all the smoke just went into the
On the smoke
hillside.
first, it's just sharing on the ground first. You can put some green leaf and just a little bit up until the tree is gone. You
Wow.
can't see much. Even you see over there, there's the fire. You still can see the smoke.
Yeah, but you don't know where it's coming
they cook
from.
for whole group like 100 people, 200 people. Which means they cook a lot, but you can't see the smoke from the sky.
So did they build a tunnel?
Yes, so it's simple. They build it.
Lyndon and I have detached from the tail of the pack and are just have broken ahead. And are just enjoying what's on offer on this stretch of the road. It's just beautiful here. This deep valley, riverbed in the bottom, and yeah, there's some half decent sections of road and there's some sketchy sections of road. So it's just, you get what you get. But at least we got a couple of corners we can lean into a bit, because at the back it's nice. You enjoy the scenery. It's very relaxing. But sometimes you just want to ride a bike through a few corners. So that's what we're doing at this point. These bikes have got bugger all suspension. So it's a very jarring experience doing this, but it's like going to those shake-off gyms where they usually put you on a shaking machine to lose fat. And I can feel my fat jiggling all over my body in places where I'd prefer not to have it for sure, which is everywhere. But anyway, we're following quite a wide river that's flowing down this valley. Over on the right here, I'm sure you can see it. And I must find out what it's called. I was just commenting a little earlier about, you see poverty everywhere here. People don't have a lot of wealth at all. However, what you also don't see are skinny, malnourished people. So they all have access to good quality food, I'm guessing, and water. Water's everywhere here, so there's no shortage of water, and they're able to then turn whatever land they can into some form of crop. And that's the reason why, the people are fed. Versus in Africa where, um, they've basically, well, it's a couple of factors in a way. Well, the one is the geography of the area and the climate of some of the regions in Africa. But the other is, they have a cattle-based economy, and the cattle have overgrazed such vast tracts of country that nothing grows anymore. They've turned it into desert. And so not only are they financially impoverished, but they are also nutritionally impoverished.
Recording.
I tell you, I don't know. I've had little child come running toward the street and then stop to throw a stick into the street. Not a big stick, a tiny little twig. A little, like, I don't know, probably a 3-year-old. And totally confident, no one fretting about it. This little child just came running out from like a side street, stopped at the intersection, and threw this little twig onto the road, and then turned around and went back. It was just amazing. At that age, they're street savvy. Of course they are. And why shouldn't they be, is the question. And then, of course, I had an incident where one of a young lady on a scooter came out from an intersection. And one of those classics, just, they do not look. They just come and they go. And they trust that this person is trying to cross, so they got to look. But for the rest of them, they don't look. They just turn in front of you, and it works. It doesn't matter what side you pass, as long as you just give a little toot, the person knows you're there, knows you're coming up like that, and it works. No one gets antsy, there's no road rage here, no such thing, have not seen it. Amongst all this chaos, you just don't see it. Here we go. You can see, not even a glance in this direction. It's amazing. The level of trust of the other motorists is just remarkable. There's no way I would come through and turn right on an intersection like that, this busy road, without giving us a glance down in this direction to see what's approaching. Not even a glance. We're going to fill up. This is where the staff are amazing again. You just get off your bike, you leave it, they fill it, and they get it all ready for you to go onward and upward. Just remarkable. We can relax. Thank you for that. I've been waiting for a good relax. So we got 2 nights here, tonight and tomorrow night. Tomorrow a rest day. I don't know. There's some excursion of some sort. I think that they may have organised for tomorrow. Whether I partake or not is yet to be seen. But at least we can get to do a bit of laundry. Wander about, have a look, it's kind of take in the local scenery, environment. They're doing concreting there on the side of the road, and in Australia there would be a 40-kilometre-an-hour zone for 400 meters either side of that. There'd be yellow and orange, black bloody barriers cordoning everything off. There'd be stop slow lollipop people holding lollipops out to stop the traffic as soon as someone steps off their work zone onto the side of the road. And it would cost probably 50 times what it costs to put that piece of concrete down that they were working on is what it will cost in Australia. In Australia, the only person that doesn't have to take care of anyone is the person doing the work. They don't have to take care of themselves. Everyone else has to take care of them. We operate to the lowest common denominator. Our rules in Australia are set for the thickest person on the imaginable. I'm sure these guys sit there and say, okay, we're thick, but I'm sure there's someone thicker than us that can do something even more stupid. So what rules can we possibly set to protect that stupid person, that absolute dumbass, from themselves? And in the process, we'll inconvenience everybody else, and we'll push the cost up to everybody else. As long as the one dumbass gets saved and not taken out of the gene pool as they should. Anyway, my rant is done. Oh, some sort of vessel berthed up here on the river. That's interesting. I don't think it goes anywhere these days, but probably just some sort of residence. People probably just live there. I don't imagine that goes very far at all. I wouldn't want to be on it. There we go, more concreting happening here.
Recording.
Oh, this is a very vibey sort of spot, like a waterfront area. And looks like this is a hotel for the night. And yeah, okay. Let's. This is the hotel we're at tonight. Okay. Interesting attire. not. And we've got all the bikes out here. And these guys are amazing because what they do is they'll sort the bikes out tomorrow. They'll be all facing the right way, organized for us. Just a very well oiled machine, these guys. Okay, this is a nice swimming pool here. So we're here for 2 nights at this place. Okay, so we're having tonight bang chang nuong,
Yes, bánh tráng nướng,
bang,
rice paper.
grilled rice paper, and I'm having a beef one. Although, look at this, squids and fish, octopus tentacles. Nice. So grilled over this little barbecue. St. Patrick's Day, the Green Festival. Very colourful down here on this waterfront at Hoi An. It certainly appeal to the tourists, that's for sure. Over on that bank on the right is the St. Patrick's Day concert going on. Over there, all these like Vietnamese gondolas. Making ice cream. Well, we're leaving Hoi An this morning. We're going to another place called Hai or something. They all got similar sounding names. Which is apparently a very historic place we're going to. We're going to ride through Da Nang. Here's a situation where I'm in the right lane, I'm going to go left, and I've got a million bikes coming up my left here. And the best thing is you just go. You just go. And like I've said before, no one gets angry, no one gets aggro. You just do it. They slow down eventually. They don't hit you. It's not to say that you can't come together in this kind of traffic, but yeah, by and large, they're very, very relaxed. I still want to get one of these mergers where someone comes from my right into this lane and is going to go in the same direction that I'm going, because they just go. They don't look. Here we go. There's one, but not. That wasn't too bad. So I'm riding at the back again today. There's another resort on the right here. It's a long way from the ocean, I've got to say. So exactly what these resorts are all about is anyone's guess. Well, it appears to be a long way from the ocean. I'm always intrigued by this, how we do this ride, because we just kind of stop randomly on these busy roads, and then we're going to, if we're refueling or what we're doing, it's always very sudden and unexpected and dangerous, whatever we end up doing. It's remarkable. So our tour today is to this marble carving factory, and statues of David. Okay, I'll turn the camera around. Complete statues of David with everything in place. So I'll turn the camera around. So this looks like the main sort of port estuary for Da Nang. Sort of fishing vessels up on the left, just thousands of them. And then to the right, there's, okay, we're stopping. We do this, yeah, there's another random stop. It's amazing. Well, this is the fishing port of Da Nang. And yeah, it's quite interesting. I'll take a shot from a little higher, because there's thousands of boats anchored here. It's not the fishing season apparently, but aside from that, I think it sounds like the pickings are very slim because the area has been overfished. In Vietnam, there's absolutely no restrictions on the catch size, in terms of the size of the fish or how much you take out of the ocean, and so the areas are overfished, and these guys have to go further and further afield, and it's just not economically viable for them to do that. So anyway, they also end up going into Indonesian and Filipino waters and fish illegally in those waters, where there's obviously all sorts of other limits and restrictions in place. And if they get caught, their boats get seized and they get a $50,000 fine, which is almost impossible for these people to pay. So that's kind of it. And they get held in jail in those countries until such time as their fines have been paid. So yeah, it's yeah, you got to feel for these people, you know. It's their only source of income, And these are growing populations. It's a universal issue where you've got these growing populations everywhere and limited resources. And we're worried about our carbon footprint. Well, we're just utilizing all the resources of the planet while we breed ourselves into oblivion. And no one's having the conversation around population control, sterilization, you name it. That conversation is just too sensitive. Still, in this world where we've got over 7.5 billion people munching away at everything in our paths, consuming, polluting, warring with each other, no one talks about population control. It's just not something we speak about. It's taboo to do that for some reason. In every society. And it should be a global issue. Anyway, let me not get too much on my high horse here.
Recording.
Over to the left is part of what I guess is the north side of Da Nang city. We're on this big suspension bridge, and quite a modern city, this, by all accounts, and lots of development going on. So there's obviously the economy is doing relatively well, and so it's a big city, Da Nang. But I must say, and it's got this kind of road system that goes along the foreshore. It's nice and wide, and it's nothing like what we have experienced in Hoi An and Nha Trang, places like that before, where they really congested, narrow streets. This is pretty much, rideable by anyone, I think, with any experience, other than the odd dude pulling out in front of you. But it's not massively congested. So over on the right there, I don't know if this is coming through on the GoPro, but over on the right are a bunch of typical Vietnamese fishing vessels that are anchored off the shore here, and there's a very definite fishy funk to the atmosphere, clearly emanating from them, I'm sure. There's always some sort of funk in the air in Vietnam, that's for sure. This is very fishy. Interesting temple over to the left there. Okay, nothing coming there, nothing coming here. Woo! Some good fish smell here. Oh, yeah. Must be. It's an interesting kind of fort arrangement. Some parts of it look very old. Some parts of it look pretty recent, and I'm talking probably World War II recent. not Vietnam War recent, I'm sure. But I'm sure this would have been some sort of outpost or guard post for the Vietnamese during the Vietnam War. But yeah, quite eerie in the mist here. So not only do these guys lead the rides, fix the bikes, fill the tanks, wait on us, but now they're cooking. Hey, I want to see your secret recipe here, man. So look at this. I tell you, these guys are just... There we go. Chopping. So this is the bus driver. These guys are on the bikes. It's phenomenal. They do everything these days. We'll just sit on our asses and get waited on. Just amazing. So here's a cemetery on the left. This massive sarcophagi, whatever you want to call them. Wow. So this is why we made this little detour. There's an even bigger cemetery on the right here. Over there on the left too. So this is a new tomb that's only just been completed. TT says in the last couple of months. You can see the concrete around the fringe here is very fresh. So TT, this is where the person is entombed?
And you can see here, in the shade here, that's for the parent.
Okay.
They respect the older people, parent, but they still alive.
So it's reserved for them?
Yeah, they just their spot here. And here is the children.
Okay.
And in the front here, very tiny, right in the front, as for the grandchildren.
Right.
Maybe it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, around 9 or 10 people here. This church finished in the last couple months. And you can see on the top there, that generation 9. And the name of the man and his wife, they still alive, but now they already got a name on here. I've been set up for them. Their spot right there.
Wow.
TT was saying they fit solar panels and they have these radios playing, this music playing all the time. Also as this is a display of family wealth more than anything to respect the dead. It's about competing families for status and wealth. But yeah, this one's just finished being built.
Recording.
You didn't hurt yourself.
Straight. No, I didn't hurt myself. I should have gone straight though. I didn't realize that everybody was turning. And then at the last second I saw Roy and I was like, oh, I should turn. And I felt it coming. I knew it was coming.
There's a jogger. You've got to be serious about going for a jog here.